Becca, thank you for sitting down.
Of course.
Camilla, Karime, thank you for sitting down. You were outside of the auditorium with the protesters of this speech. Why were you protesting?
I was genuinely wondering how a man is going to explain how radical feminism is hurting women.
Did I convince you?
No, not really, no. I think you brought up some good points on like how there are certain types of feminism that aren't great, because there's always a radical something that's not good. There's always going too far and doing too little.
I saw your poster also, and I was like, oh, it's just like another speaker just coming in and talking. And then I started saying transgenderism should be eradicated. And as you know, eradicated it's a big word, and
yeah, eradicate it. It's 5 syllables.
Yeah, but it could be taken into different things, to destroy and everything like that, and to get rid of, which I think that's where you were going with.
That is very much, yeah.
Get rid of.
Yeah.
That's literally what eradicated means. I don't know why she decided to tell us synonyms of the word, but yeah, eradicates transgenderism. It's a big word. What's that got to do with anything? And behold you, college students in America.
Yeah.
I have some transgender friends, and they were really hurt by a lot of the news and a lot of what was happening. I wanted to stand with my community.
My argument is not, as some newspapers very irresponsibly reported, that I want to, exterminate people or something. But my argument is that this whole idea of transgenderism is pretty new. You both have friends who identify in this way. There are many more people, right, who say, I am transgender. And so my question is, why are so many more people saying that now?
You said that this being transgender is this new ideology.
Yeah.
It's not. There's evidence of people who were transgender in ancient Greece, Rome. Judaism is an example of a religion that acknowledges, I think, 6 or 7 genders.
I don't think that's quite true. And my evidence for that would be in the very first book of the Torah, in Genesis. One of the most prominent lines is that in the beginning, God created man, both male and female created he them.
It's not but Judaism, I think what the original translation, I can't cite my source right now, okay, but from what I've learned going to different religious schools is that
Jewish schools?
Just synagogues, temples. I've tried and experienced different religions. They said that the original text said Adam and Eve as in one being, one.
Well, man, yeah, man. So in the earliest chapters of Genesis, you have the creation of man in Adam. And then Eve is created from Adam's rib, but she would be the other sex. What you're citing is this.
These people don't even know what they're talking about. They hear a few words here and there, and then they go with that and they just run with it and start telling everyone that now there's more than 2 genders, and that was said in the Torah or in Judaism. Well, I don't know where the heck she got that from. But this is what I'm saying. Now, these people are going to be people who will be voting in the future.
This line that a lot of people who are pro-transgender will say, which is, actually in some Native American tribe that I can't quite name right now, I'm sure they believe in a 3rd and a 4th and a 5th gender, but that just isn't true. That is that's been made up by white liberals.
You know the movie Mulan, Disney Mulan?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
Mulan, he dresses as a man, right, goes to war. That's based off of true history.
Oh yes, cross-dressing has occurred in history.
Not just cross-dressing, but people who
in
went...
In Mulan, did the female character think she was a man?
No.
Oh, okay.
Why there's so many spikes and people saying that they're transgender is because people are much more comfortable now, going out and saying that they're transgender, because they know that there now is that community that will accept them.
What if they're not really comfortable though? There's a guy who pioneered the transgender surgery at Johns Hopkins. His name is Dr. Paul McHugh, and he created the Gender Identity Clinic, and he gave these experimental surgeries to men who thought they were women. And he ended up shutting it down because he said people were not more satisfied in the long run after the surgery. Is it possible that people expressing this transgender identity is not really making them all that happy?
No. Okay. male transitioning into female. So my aunt, she was never happier than she was after she transitioned. So she's happy, like she's living her life now that she's transitioned. And you know, it's like, you never know, like what if they can't feel that way if they stayed how they were?
Do you think that the person you now call your aunt, do you think that, I would say he, really is a she, it really is a woman? Or is it just kind of a little bit of a white lie that we all tell to make this person feel better?
No.
Like, I really just, it's so sad that this is the generation we have come to, where this is the rubbish that's being espoused to people. That your uncle done some surgery and now he is a female and you are running along with that. And these college students, university students are being indoctrinated to believe this bull crap, and they're running along with it and they're propagating it to society, and society is beginning to follow along with it. And what I always get confused about is this movement are a minority of everyone, but they seem to be everywhere.
No, I think it is, you know, like I think they actually are like female. You know, I think there's just some people out there that are just born in the wrong bodies.
Can I ask you a question though?
Please,
Like,
yeah.
do you have kids?
Yeah.
Hypothetically, right, saying like if your kids want to transition and they tell you like they don't feel like how they,
Yeah.
how would you respond?
Well, I would hope that the likelihood of that happening would be greatly diminished because I would not be raising them in a culture that would encourage it. And so we do see, even if you think that there is a biological component to this gender identity ideology, we do see that in communities and ages that are more encouraging of it, you see the numbers of gender identity cases skyrocket. So I think the fact that we're raising our children in a more traditional kind of environment would at least reduce the possibility. More than 1 in 5 Zoomers identifies as LGBTQ+. That's about a 10-fold increase over the general population. Mm-hmm. So obviously this is catching on.
Because now they can.
1 in 5 people is just born that way. You don't think there's any social contagion?
I, again, can't cite the exact source. In my biology class here in this school, we learned that there are some biological indicators for gay men. They have a smaller gland in their brain that shows up on scans.
Even if that were the case, that wouldn't change the way that we necessarily ought to behave. The way that we are born does not imply that we are slaves to our nature, because human beings, unlike the lower animals, have intellect and will.
True.
And so because we have a rational will, we can actually curb some of our appetites and bring them into accord with our rational will, which is conscious. Let's say, God forbid, that my kid has any problems, one of which is he struggles with his view of sex or gender. Probably what I would tell him is, hey, love you, buddy, but this is reality. And so I would try to ballast my kids or any loved one that I have in the truth, because there's a great quote from C.S. Lewis on this. He says, if you look for truth, you might find comfort in the end. But if you look for comfort, you will find neither truth nor comfort, only soft soap and wishful thinking to begin, and in the end, despair. Despair because you got nothing to hold on to other than your own fleeting passions.
I have lots of trans friends.
You have lots of friends who think they're the opposite sex.
I have lots of friends
But
who
what if they're
identify
mistaken
as
about that?
trans. What?
What if they're wrong? What if
you're wrong about being straight?
I guess I would still behave as though I were straight. My view of sex and gender is that our true sexuality and our true gender is not from some deeply hidden and authentic appetite that might be invisible to the public, but is actually prescribed according to our human nature.
But who are you to tell people that they're wrong?
Well, I'm a man with reason.
Exactly, that's who the person is. And they go around saying, who are you to tell people who they're wrong? You do the exact same things to other people. They try to go on this high ground of moral superiority as if they don't tell other people that what they're doing is wrong. You do the exact same thing. Every human being in this world tells other people they're wrong. They base their lives on their own morals and they try to instill it in other people. And a good person, if he believes his morals are correct, will try and instill it into other people. But the people who are evil, they'll coddle people in their lies and then try to also tell people that their lies are the truth, which is what the left and the liberals are doing.
And a moral conscience.
And I am a woman with reason. And I think it's not my place to tell somebody that what they're feeling is wrong.
You just told me that I'm wrong about transgenderism. I'm saying how we all choose to live is our business because we live in society.
Why is it my business if somebody identifies as a woman or not?
Well, because
Michael Knowles caught on to a very good point there. She said you don't have the right to tell anyone else what to do, but she's literally doing the exact thing she's telling him not to do. She's saying he can't tell anyone else what they should do, which defeats her own purpose of what she just said. Which is what I was just saying. Everyone does it. You're saying they can't tell anyone what to do, but then you're doing the exact same thing you're telling him not to do.
Because right now women are allowed to have their own bathrooms, and if a man is allowed to identify as a woman in public, women are not allowed to have their own
Do you know
bathrooms.
a man can just walk into the bathroom at any time, right?
But he'll be arrested in a normal society. In our society, he could sue if he were kicked out of the women's bathroom.
People aren't just identifying as trans to look up girls' skirts.
Well, some people are. Some people, there are
Who?
crimes. Well,
There
there was
definitely are people who wanna do that.
pretty prominent crime in Loudoun County where a high school student who wore skirts and identified as gender ambiguous would go into the girls' room and he raped 2 girls at 2 different schools. And it was covered up because of the transgender ideology.
See, I can't swear on it. That's messed up.
It's messed up.
You just asked him who's doing that. He gave you an example of someone who's not just looking up people's skirts, but is also who also raped 2 people. But you're saying who's doing it, as if you don't believe that there are evil people in this world who would want to do that because of your stupid ideology.
It's messed up.
So
I agree.
there, right? One example, but to generalize that to all.
I'm not opposed to transgenderism because I think some individual who thinks he's transgender is a really rotten fella. In fact, I'm only opposed to transgenderism because of the general fact that a man can't become a woman and a woman can't become a man, because I can know that to be true. And if I can't know that to be true objectively, then I can't really know much of anything at all, right?
They choose, to go through those transformations in order to like feel like their soul and their body actually like resonates.
So is the idea that your true identity is your soul and your body is only incidental to that because to even say your true identity, I think, well, your true identity is got something to do with your body, I think. I don't think your true identity has nothing to do with your body, right?
Yeah,
I think
would
we
say
are. We are our souls. And I think, growing up in a Catholic church, I think of myself as my soul. And I think that my body, it's my flesh. It's temporary.
Are you still Catholic, would you say?
No.
No. Because, the Catholic idea is, yes, of course, we are souls in part, but we are also bodies, and that our bodies and souls have a lot to do with one another, and they're inseparable. So, the Catholic idea would be to say that your soul is contradicting your body. That would not go along with the Catholic idea. And it's very interesting that there's this new, maybe religious view, which is that no, our bodies, has nothing to do with our true selves. That view is called Gnosticism, Gnostic dualism, that we're really our souls and the body is evil or something like that. But I just wonder, how do we know that's true? How do you know that you're not really, at least in part, your body?
They always say mind over body, because your brain, it's the thing that controls like everything, like sends off like these signals and.
But your brain is your body too. Your mind is not your body. That's the immaterial part, but the brain is part of your body. It's an organ, right?
Well, yeah.
My primary problem with transgenderism is that it isn't true. And because it's false, there are harmful consequences from it.
They're not doing any harm to you.
Yeah, well, I think.
Yeah, they are. I'll never understand why these liberals and leftists seem to think they know what harm is being done to us. Yes, they are. They're forcing people like me to believe in their delusions. That is harm to me. They're forcing me to lie against my own beliefs. That is harm to me. So yes, they are doing harm. So trying to tell me what harm they are not doing to me. They are doing harm. And they're causing harm to many other people who believe in the same thing I believe in.
That sexual dysfunction has caused a lot of harm. The breakdown of the family, the obliteration of women's rights in private spaces, the mutilation of children, which now we're seeing just abound in the country, the sterilization of children. So I think there are a lot of pretty
Did you know
concrete
that hormone
harms.
therapy was made for like girls who get their periods at the age of 6? You can go on estrogen and it will go back. It'll
It doesn't.
change
That's what they
things.
tell you, but it's not true. And there are a lot of detransitioners who talk about the lifelong effects that
Lifelong, okay, but it's not.
Detransitioners, women who have male pattern baldness and a lowered voice for the rest of their life, and who are sterile too. I mean, that's tough. You can't have
Yeah, and that
kids.
happened. Okay, I probably can't have kids either. I have PCOS.
Oh,
So what?
Jeez.
Do you think we should sterilize more children?
It's not sterilizing kids.
No, that is. We were just talking about.
It's really not though. It's stopping them from going through puberty where they don't want to go.
I guess maybe we're just using different terms for the same
Probably,
thing. But in any case,
but-
I appreciate your coming on. And
Oh, I
having-
have something for you. I
Okay.
found it outside. I thought you'd really like it.
Is this a fan letter?
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see.
There's a lot of them
He was
out
right.
there.
Radical feminism did ruin my life, and it's me dressed up as an official from the Biden administration, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you know? That's crazy.
So sad. This is the younger generation and the new generation that's going to be going into the world and setting the standard for the world that we are going to be living in. But anyway, that was another video, another reaction. As I usually say, if you guys enjoyed the video, like the video as much as possible. Comment down below. Let's get a discussion going down below. I'll reply to as many comments as possible. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at YinkaThatGuy. And I am out.